South Louisiana music. It's all, I mean, when the Acadians left France, they were playing stuff like this. Just, very European, something you could take a walk to. Louisiana, from the very beginning, has been a place where vastly different people have dealt with each other. New Orleans was started by French people, and it was a slave area, so then you have all these Africans in there, and then you had all this immigration, and all these folks were just all jumbled together. And the infectiousness of the syncopation and the glissando, the sliding of the African music was just irresistible to everybody.
I'm gonna sing a verse. Woman, come on, Batasha. Woman, declare this year. Woman, declare this year. And be monte pape, mon pape.
One of the techniques that is in almost every Cajun song is, it's called a drone, where you play one note and then you'll kind of find the octave right above it, so you get kind of like a very unique effect. And that's in almost every Cajun song.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you take the left hand of Professor Longhair in New Orleans, it's going to be. You jump on the 2. It's everywhere.
We're outside of Fred's Lounge in MAMOU, and there's a band playing. There's some pirates here, and I'm here for my mama's birthday. It's a landmark that's been here for decades, where people come on Saturday mornings only to listen to authentic, French music from this area.
It's only open on Saturdays?
Yes.
Out here at Fred's Lounge in MAMOU, Louisiana. I always wanted to play at Fred's because it was like the only party around, like where you can go at 9 o'clock in the morning and have, everybody's having a good time and stuff at 9 o'clock in the morning, Yeah, Fred's Lounge. Songs were recorded back in the 20s, when the first Cajun, I think the first Cajun song that came out on a record, the first recording was back in 1929 and stuff, so.
And where do you learn your songs?
Well, mostly from playing in the band and stuff with my grandfather and stuff. Most of this, that's where I got most of the stuff, but then some of the recordings, they had a lot of French programming here in Louisiana, which it's dying off now, but that's where I learned a lot of the songs from the radio and stuff.
I was the oldest of 4 children. Mom and Dad spoke French to hide things from us, and then they spoke to us in English. But when I married my husband 52 years ago, his dad had a big dance hall. They had 2 little rooms where they played poker. And I'd pass them some coffee in a tray, give them some goodies for them to snack on. And they'd talk to me in French. And that's when I was first married. And eventually I picked it up because that was my interest. And I knew that anybody can.
All right, thank you, dancers. Also.
That's all you get for a nickel.
Where are you from?
Place they call Swallow.
In Louisiana?
But of course, Swallow, Louisiana, sure.
All right.
Now don't look for it on the map because you're not gonna find it.
No?
You find Oberlin on the map. I'm 8 miles from Oberlin, 8 miles from Elton, where I live. I live in the country, in the rural area.
How'd you learn to play?
I learned mostly with my dad and my uncles and stuff played. Yeah. Come on, ma, give one papa. Chicken, Magite, americano.
One of the cool things about a culture like this, and I found it also in Nashville, where it's like there's this pool of standard material that you know, and everybody's interchangeable parts. You know how to work together. You know, there's a boilerplate arrangement. Yeah, you start with the accordion, and somebody sings it. The fiddle player plays, and it goes through the song in that order, and everybody does it that way. Just about, and so that's what goes on at the jam sessions.
Hi, I'm Anne Savoie. This is the Savoie Music Center, and we just had a big jam session and ate Buddha and drank coffee and trying to keep the tradition alive, honoring the older musicians, and had a lot of friends here today from all over the place. Traditionally, in the dance hall, you would have steel, bass, drum, accordion, and fiddle and guitar. A little band, like which is all of our bands, which are spread out here on our records, are fiddle, Cajun accordion, and guitar. And that's basically a real traditional Cajun band. And Mark builds the accordions, my husband. This is his store.
Is this something that you come to every Saturday? Or?
Yeah, I come here every Saturday, just about every Saturday. And I have my own band. I play once a month at a little restaurant, and I do a lot of funerals. I play a lot of funerals. A lot of people don't like to do funerals, but you know, it's the last thing you can do for them if they ask me to play. And I know one guy that plays, and he charges like $100 for one song to play at a funeral, and I don't charge nothing, because you know, if they think that much of me and they want me to play it at the last, you know, on their way out. I played a slow one one time at the graveside, and the mother of my friend, she came and she says, "That's too sad." She says, "Would you play a fast one?" I said, "Okay." So we played the El Menard's, the back door, in the graveside. I said, man, the people were all jumping, and I said, I can't believe this, you know, but that's what they wanted, so.
Maybe more of a celebration.
That's right, yeah, because, you know, that's what it's supposed to be anyhow. It's not supposed to be no sadness.
What are some of the topics of the songs? Like you're singing in French, and unfortunately, I don't understand.
So a lot of them are sad, heartbroken songs, you know, where they went through misery and had a rough life, and you know, it's very meaningful and soulful, because I'm sure some of them wanted to cry.
Mon malheureux joli peu, y'a au soir manger, tu fais mal à l'illusion.
No, I just made that up. It's all some bullshit.
I'd met a guy from Louisiana when I was in Nashville, a guy named Joel Saunier. He's an accordion player and singer and songwriter. And he said, well, I said, I want to learn Cajun music, but I can't find something that really twirls my skirt, you know? He said, you need to listen to the Balfa Brothers. So the first time I heard that, I went, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for.
My dad grew up on the Cajun side of it. He was, you know, the nephew of the Balfa Brothers, and my mom grew up on a whole different spectrum. But once they divorced, my dad just went crazy and bought every instrument under the sun. So he never stopped me from picking up the fiddle or the guitar or whatever it was. And then I started learning about my family and the music and the history, and that's kind of how it all started. I was never told no.
And then I got to be Dewey's apprentice. I had an apprenticeship grant from the state to study with him. He said, you're a good fiddle player. He said, there's probably some things I can learn from you, but if you want to sound like me, the first thing you have to do is start paying attention. And I went, whoa, okay. And he was right. I said, what he did was taught me to really pay attention and listen to the details. That's where the culture is.
The tradition, it's everything to me. I mean, David was just talking about that. I think if it floats off too far from the tradition, it becomes something different. So yeah, I'm really into keeping it traditional and all the traditional language, traditional music.
Yeah, it's respect for the culture and trying to get good at it. So.
And what's your connection to the culture?
Just that I enjoy the music.
We learned more kind of textbook French, but then they would also kind of come in and show us kind of the differences between Louisiana French and Parisian French.
I think really you and I picked up more Louisiana and Cajun French through the music, learning the lyrics, learning the songs, and then also just interacting with other musicians that grew up speaking and speaking with them. Because I mean, everything in this area is like passed on. It's an oral tradition. Everything, the cooking, the music, the dancing, everything about the culture is just kind of like this generation at a time kind of passed down thing.
Chaque soirée, j'avais marché dans les rues, mais moi tout seul. Et quand je parlais, je regardais, pour tout ça arrivé. Tous les matins, quand je me levais, avec une peur cassée, c'est la nuit que j'ai choisi et je connais pas toujours la vérité. J'ai toujours cru que dans ma vie, une vie tranquille. Mais assez, je suis pris dans la vie. J'ai toujours cru qu'il y en avait une vie collier, j'appelle pleurer, j'appelle jongler, dis-moi et toi, et mon chicane, tu vas jamais, non tu vas jamais dans le thé.